G'day guys and girls. Today I'm going to do a video and we're going to unwrap the angle grinder stand, which you showed a lot of interest in. So update on the week is I've been so busy at work, haven't had any time to have a life, so nothing's happened with the Prefect since the last video. And the only thing with the Red Escort is I've started to make exhaust before I sell it. That's the bit that goes over the axle. But for now, Sunday afternoon, we're going to unwrap this, the gimmick of all tools, angle grinder stand. It's probably not going to be like a Dropsaw at all, but let's put it together and see if it cuts.
Okay, so upon opening this box, you will find a base, a swing arm, an assortment of bolts and screws, some instructions that come with 1 pixel pictures and pictures from a different model, and then a couple of little bits like the plastic guard, etc. It does come with tools like Allen keys, but there is one you'll have to supply, and a couple of washers which don't come in it, unless that was just my kit. The kit cost $35 off eBay. It might have been the cheapest nastiest one we could get, but that's what this one is. The first thing you need to do is those slots, they're powder coated, and the powder coating has changed the clearance where the slots go through, so you just have to file the powder off so that the bolts can go through. Once that's done, you can start by bolting the swing arm loosely onto the base and then leave it loose because you're going to change this to get the right angle once everything's together. So I ended up just winging it after a little while, it wasn't too hard. The long bolt you see there, the M6, that holds the guard on, and then the angle grinder is held up by 2 right angle brackets off the swing arm, and then those are slotted on so that you can adjust where it sits depending on the size of the grinder. And those are the ones that you need to supply the extra washer for to hold it in. Now once that's tight, once you're happy with the position of the grinder, you can use these plastic caps on the end of those 60mm bolts, and they're used to regulate the angle of the grinder by pushing against the body of it from the swing arm. As you can see, I was lazy in this pick and didn't rotate that plastic piece. Now is the time when you get your spanner and get your grinder nice and square to the base, whether that be screwing it in more or taking or backing it off. And then once that's done, the last thing you can do is get your square and measure from the grinding disc or cutting disc to the base plate thing, and then doing it up so that you know that you can make a square cut. And once that's all square, I just did a final bulk check just to be sure, don't want anything flying off. And especially because the spring-loaded swing arm also was assembled in factory, so you don't want to have something break because someone couldn't be bothered. And the first test was on a bit of 19mm or 3/4 stainless tube, and it went through just fine. I couldn't get the camera to focus for some reason, but it cut through not too bad. Alright, next test, 2-inch tube. Didn't cut it all the way through, but I found I could just turn the workpiece and cut it. Still wasn't perfect, was pretty square, but you wouldn't want to be tigging something that needed to be super accurate. But if you do, I'd probably just mark around the tube and then rotate it just for a better cut. Then I got my adjustable square and set the backstop to 45 degrees, and noticed that you can't actually cut 25mm tube without the head of the grinder hitting on the back plate. So you could probably get away with doing it 45 the other way. My patience was running out at this point in time. So then the next workpiece I decided to do was 50mm by 25 RHS, and it cut through just fine. And then yeah, cutting through a bolt, which is what I bought it for, cutting through small pieces of solid round. And yeah, can't complain with that. And then I thought, just for shits and giggles, we'll cut a car in half, just in case I ever need to cut a car in half. And yeah, it ripped through that.
That's it. We've just tested the angle grinder stand. What are the results, Opie? Well, I think if you want to cut little matchbox cars in half, goes pretty good. If you want to cut anything bigger than like 25mm or 1 inch, it's no good. You're gonna have to turn it, which kind of defeats the purpose of actually having an angle grinder stand. So if I was you, buy the proper thing, buy a bandsaw, Brobo, anything. The reason I've got this though is because at work we're cutting a lot of frames out of a solid stainless bar, and they're about that long, and it's pretty risky to put them in with the Brobo blade because that'll snap. So that's how I've got it. You can lob off 100 of them like the little bolts that I did. Other than that, it's pretty good at cutting crowns and matchbox cars, but would not recommend it unless you're really into doing a Chinese puzzle. Then probably get it for a friend. We'll see you next week, eh? Peace.